his defensive philosophies are just, they're at fault. You're going to have to correct those defensive philosophies. If you watch the Clippers play, you've always got people wide open shooting and a man running at them with their arm up. That's a bad defense. There's way too many, they're doing way too much double teaming around the perimeter, which is not necessary. So take it from me, Doc Rivers, you're going to have to fix that if you want to win. Other than that, he's a great coach, but he got to change that defensive philosophy. Speaking of defensive philosophies, last week the Cowboys had 49 points scored against their defense by the Cleveland Browns. Now, ironically, Cleveland Browns was never a team that I rooted for. I did not like the Cleveland Browns because I had a lot of people when I was growing up constantly talking trash about the Cleveland Browns, and it really irritated me because the Cleveland Browns have never won anything. Not within the last 55 years anyway, and I'm not 55 years old. So they've never won anything in my lifetime, and the last thing I want to hear is people talking trash about a team that's not won anything. The older guys in the neighborhood and people in my family, would talk junk about the Cleveland Browns as if they were one of the best teams playing, and they weren't. And that just irritated me. So, plus that they don't even have a logo, the Cleveland Browns. So here this brown and orange team, like that, those colors ever go together. I can see the Bengal colors and orange and black, and the Bengals got sweet helmets with the tiger stripes on them, Bengals. But the Browns, their uniforms are ugly. Orange and brown are usually colors that don't go together. And they have no logo. And the Browns were a great team, before Super Bowls before they ever existed. But they have not been. The Super Bowls have been around for 55 years. The Browns have not been a good team since then. And then we have the nerve for one talk show host, who shall remain nameless, who refers to the Browns as America's team, which is the most nonsensical, ridiculous bullshit I've ever heard. And myself, being a Cowboy fan, it's annoying because the Browns don't deserve the moniker of being America's team, but because this man is a nationally syndicated broadcaster, he has the ego and the ability to smack this moniker on him and have some people, take him seriously. But I know it's not serious. It's sports. It's not a. But the Cowboys are America's team. The Cowboys have more fans nationwide than the Browns. The Cowboys, even though they just got beat by the Browns, and the Browns scored almost 50 on the Cowboys, the Cowboys received this moniker of America's team back in the 60s. I don't know who gave it to them, but they received it and they've lived up to it. I mean, first off, they dressed the part. They got the blue star on their helmet. Okay, that is more reminding you of stars and stripes on our flag. Okay, the Cowboys with their star on the helmet and their nice colors, So the Cowboys dressed the part, first of all. The Browns don't even have a logo. They certainly wouldn't have a logo that suggests anything about America. The closest thing to a logo the Browns have is the dogs. That has nothing to do with America. The Cowboys have won the Super Bowl. And this is the main reason. They've earned the moniker America's team. They've won the Super Bowl several times. Okay? The Browns have never even been to the Super Bowl. They don't deserve to be called America's team. So, I am annoyed because this talk show host refers to the Browns as America's team. They're not America's team, okay? Even if they manage to muster up enough wins, which, I doubt that's going to happen. It could, though. They're 3-1 right now. Even if they was able to win enough to get to the playoffs, I highly doubt they're going to go through the Ravens. The Patriots that have COVID, their team just postponed the game, which we'll get to here in a second. Get through the Ravens, the Steelers, and Kansas City Chiefs. That's the Browns and Buffalo. Buffalo Bills are a good AFC team as well. That's Cleveland's road to the Super Bowl. You're going to have to play either Buffalo, it looks like, Kansas City, or the Ravens, which I have a hard time thinking the Browns is going to make it through that. All right, we're going to take one more break, but I'm not done with sports. I got off on this Browns thing. It just came to mind. I actually did mean to mention it, but we're going to take one more break. Give me 30 seconds, and I'll be right back. Don't go away.
You're listening to a man who's so sexy it's completely ridiculous. Mr. Anthony Scott Dover. Yeah.
All right. We're back. Yes, I was talking about the Cleveland Browns because I'm from Ohio, and a nationally syndicated radio show decided that he wants to slap the Browns with America's team, which they don't deserve, and the sports fans of America will never accept, especially Dallas Cowboy fans who know that the Cowboys are America's team, not the dumbass Browns. Even though I'm from Ohio, it's still annoying that anybody would refer to the Browns never making the Super Bowl as America's team. If you're America's anything, you got to be either the absolute best or the absolute worst. Okay, like America is the absolute worst in COVID, or we're the best in a lot of other things. Freedom, democracy, war. We kill, we kick ass, okay? We're kicking ass in COVID. Let's put it that way. We got more than everybody else. More cases, more deaths, everything. So if you're the Browns, you haven't won ever, and you don't even have a logo. People don't even know how to root for you except for, put on a dog mask. Can't say you're America's team. You're not. So, like I said, the show that this guy is on is a good show. It was a good talk show. It's a good sports talk show. But yeah, his ego is getting the best of him by thinking he can take the moniker from the Dallas Cowboys and smack it on the Browns, which is laughable. That's why I'm laughing, because it's laughable. So I just wanted to mention that the Browns, no, the Cowboys are America's team. They've been to the Super Bowl 8 times. They won 5 of them. Okay, they haven't been in recent years, but this is the long-term thing. This nickname was smacked on them in the 60s, and they lived up to it. Okay, their organization has lived up to it. The Browns, they're not close. They're not even close. So stop it with the nonsense, please. All right. Now, the Tennessee Titans have had an outbreak of COVID, and they have postponed one game, and they might be postponing another game. And the Patriots, Cam Newton tested positive for COVID-19. I leave the 19 out because we've been in the pandemic so long. I say COVID, you know what I'm talking about. You don't have to say the coronavirus every time or COVID-19 every time. You know what I'm talking about. Cam Newton tested positive for COVID, and he did not play the last game. The Patriots still have a pretty good team. I don't think they won the game the last time. They've been really close to winning every game. They only lost on the last play of the game against Seattle because Cam Newton ran the ball and got to the 2-yard line. If he had scored, they would have won the game. But that was their best bet. I think Bill Belichick felt that was their best bet. And so he ran the ball, and he just didn't make it. But the Patriots have a good team. That's another team that if the Browns happen to make it to the playoffs, they'll have to. If COVID doesn't cause a lot of problems at once, it can cause some problems, but not all at once, because things are going to be delayed. I can't imagine the season is not going to be delayed now because of COVID. When you have every team has a bye week, that means you got 1 week that you don't play, and and there's 2 teams that won't play, and then all the other teams play. So you have a bye week in the middle of the season. All teams have a bye week. It's at different times. They're not all taking a bye week on the same week. Some teams have a bye week on the 3rd week, some on the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th week. And usually they have it all done by the 9th week, 10th week. And, I start thinking about the playoffs and what teams look like they're heading that way when they only have like 5 or 6 games left. 16-game season in the NFL. But the Tennessee Titans, they've postponed 1 game because of COVID outbreak, and they got penalized by the league because they tried to practice somewhere else. When their facility was shut down, they tried to have a practice without the league knowing about it, and they got caught. So now not only did they have to postpone a game, but now they're going to have sanctions. They're going to have some type of penalty. I haven't heard what that penalty is, but it is to be determined by the league. So the Titans are not only having problems with COVID, but they're also in trouble by the league by trying to do something stupid. The Patriots have a game postponed today, the game that they were supposed to play today, Sunday, the 11th, has been postponed because of COVID. They've probably had, I think the Titans in their organization, they've had over 20 positive tests. Not all players. Some of them are just people who work in the organization, in the office and stuff of that nature. Patrick Mahomes actually hugged a guy who tested positive after they hugged. So Patrick Mahomes was in proximity of someone with COVID. So we don't know. It looks like he played today, so I guess he passed his test. The Patriots have 5 guys, from what I've heard on the news, who tested positive, so they're postponing. You said, why would they postpone with only 5 guys? They got 53 guys on the team. That count might be off. Maybe they have more guys testing positive. But it might be that those 5 guys are all starters and they're not backups or anything. If they had just one backup or a couple backups who were positive, they go ahead and play. But if all 5 of those guys are in the starting lineup and they test positive, they might postpone. I don't know what the protocol is for that, but we've had a few postponements. So if the football season plays out without too many delays, because the Super Bowl is in February, early February, not like late February, early February usually. But if they have too many postponements, they're going to have to push it back. In other football news, Golden Tate, a wide receiver for Detroit Lions, and Jalen Ramsey, a defensive back for Los Angeles, they got into a fight on the field because Jalen Ramsey dated Golden Tate's sister, and he broke up with her while she was pregnant. So Golden Tate didn't appreciate that. So these guys ended up in a fight. Now, I don't know all the circumstances